We are back on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio, News Talk, 1180, 1230, KGEO, 1410, KERI, now in Albuquerque, New Mexico on 1000 KKIM, and on KNookMedium.com in the Richmond, Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area. Our guest in studio, Marylee Shrider from the Right to Life of Kern County.
Hi.
So, we were talking about medical science dictating. I can remember when I had a radio show in Los Angeles 20-some odd years ago when I was involved heavily in the pro-life movement. And there was a case where a woman had twins, and one of them had to come out surgically for some medical reason, and the other baby was in the womb. And I remember making an issue about the fact that technically she could kill or annihilate that child in the womb, and the one outside you couldn't, because that would be considered murder. I mean,
unless
how
you lived
insane!
in Chicago.
Yeah, but how insane that is,
Right. Right.
So medical science, at a younger and younger age, the embryo, the child in the womb, is able to survive. So is that changing the whole complexion of the pro-life issue?
That is, and also the wonderful illuminating miracle of ultrasound is just helping us make huge strides. I think there are 22 states who now have some form of mandated ultrasound, pre-abortion ultrasound laws now in place. And in fact, we are looking at that very same bill. We have authored a bill. We're shopping it around looking for legislative support, which would mandate that before every abortion, a woman has an ultrasound, and she is offered the opportunity to either view the picture or listen to the prenatal heartbeat. Because we find that most women, there are a lot of women, when they see that, choose to carry their pregnancies to term.
Now, is this the bill that Shannon Grove is?
No, that's different. This is the one that Right to Life of Kern County has authored here in California. It's a long shot, but
it's a great. Well, and you would think if you were honestly pro-choice,
right,
you would give the woman the option of seeing that, and that would be part of her choice, of her decision to make.
Absolutely. I mean, how can you not support a woman having every bit of information she can in order to make a decision that she will always be able to live with?
Right.
And this cuts, we hope that this will cut through the fear and sometimes the panic that young women find when they're in a crisis situation. So we just find this a little bit more information. We don't know how anyone could object to it, but they do. Sure. Now, what Shannon Grove has come up with, she is submitting or presenting an assembly. She's our own assemblywoman, Shannon Grove, and it is the Parental Notification, Child and Teen Safety Stop Predators Act. And we find that while still in California, the majority of people are not ready to overturn Roe v. Wade, they are in greater numbers approving of some restrictions, and this is one they want to see. They want parents to be involved in their children's decisions when they're minors. Most parents cannot imagine their daughters going through an abortion without their guidance and counsel and presence, if possible.
Unfortunately, I would doubt that that's going to even pass. Because the people may want it, but we have to look at who are the legislators.
Absolutely. Any pro-life legislation is going to be a battle. But I have to admire, Shannon is a firebrand.
Yes, she is.
And she is going to keep bringing this up because she is representing California. She is representing the majority of people who want it. Kern County, absolutely. So I admire her for bringing it up. It's going to be a fight. It may not even make it out of committee, but if people call and tell the health committee, hey, this is something we want to talk about, this is something we want to see move forward, the more people who are supporting these kinds of things, the sooner it's going to happen.
I'm fascinated by your bill, though, about the ultrasound. I mean, that's such a simple idea that you would think should be able to get some traction. But, in California, that's going to be a tough sell.
And I get that all the time. And how that started for us here in Kern County was I was talking to Linda Davis, director of the Pregnancy Center, and every year they find that they do ultrasounds all the time, and they're free of charge, and they find every year that of the women they recognize as abortion vulnerable who have these ultrasounds, 75 to 80% routinely say, oh, done, I'm going to carry my pregnancy to term. They may either parent, they may put that child up for adoption, but a great majority of them decide to carry their babies to term. So we started doing our homework. We looked at what other states were doing. And again, we found that in increasing numbers throughout the country, not in California, of course, but increasing numbers throughout the country, that legislation is being passed. We want women to at least have the opportunity to know what's going on inside.
Right. Our in-studio guest, Marylee Shrider from the Right to Life of Kern County.
Marylee, how do you reach the girls or the women that are looking to have an abortion? How do you get to them, to talk to them, to try to convince them not to have an abortion?
Well, it all starts with education. First of all, of course, we do refer young women. Believe it or not, I get a number of calls at Right to Life of Kern County. I think it's the term Right to Life that gets them to call, and they say, do you do abortions? And I say, no, we don't, and I give them the number for the Bakersfield Pregnancy Center, and I turn them over to that way. However, Right to Life of Kern County is also very active in one of the mandates I was given by our board of directors when I started with Right to Life was that we will go into the high schools and college campuses. And one of the things we are doing is we're starting student-led pro-life clubs on the campuses of our high schools and colleges. So that's very exciting. So these young people, they know they're passionate about life. They don't always know why, and they don't always know how to articulate that. So what I'm finding, though, on the high school campuses is these kids, they want the words. They want to know how to move forward. So we're educating our young people. We're spreading the word about the Safely Surrender Baby program, where, you can within 3 days of your baby's birth, you can turn that child over to put that child in the hands of firefighters or a hospital emergency room. So we're reaching out that way in terms of education and letting people know you don't have to be, especially young women, you don't have to be in these crisis situations all by yourself.
So if someone wanted to make a donation or wanted information, is there a particular phone number or website they can go to?
Absolutely. They can reach us at www.rtlkc.org. That's our website. They can get a hold of us at 866-1-864-7508. That's our phone number.
864-7508.
08.
Correct. Okay. And that website again, which is a great website, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's pretty new for us. That's www.rtlkc.org. Right to Life, Kern County.
And an old friend of ours is your regional director, Brian Johnson, who's been on our show a couple times. Good guy.
Yes. Yeah. I'm looking forward to working with Brian in the future.
I first interviewed Brian in 1988 at KBRT down in Orange County.
Yeah, he's a dynamo too, and he's very excited about the legislation that we have penned too. So they're very supportive.
Yeah. Brian's a good guy. It's funny because looking at your website, I noticed one of your board members is an old friend of ours, Russell Johnson.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a board member for you.
Also a city councilman?
City councilman,
yeah.
It's great to have him on board.
Yeah. So you've got some events coming up?
We do.
Okay.
We do. Well, as you know, it's January is Sanctity of Human Life Month. Mm-hmm. So we do have a number of things we have planned. Now, one of the things we do have planned is to participate in the Walk for Life West Coast. We had reserved 4 buses at $25 a seat to take a bunch of Bakersfield people up there. It's usually attended by 50,000 people.
Where is it?
It's in San Francisco. And 50,000 attended last year. It's a 2-mile march up Market Street. I'm going for the first time myself. I understand it's wild.
And what's it called again?
It's called Walk for Life West Coast.
Oh,
Unfortunately, the buses are already full. I mean, the Catholics jumped on board so fast. And, of course, our Protestants have literally missed the bus on this one. Yeah, I know. I'm so frustrated.
Can't you get more buses?
Well, we could, but the reason we're able to offer the seats at such a discount at $25 a pop is because we had donations to do it. So we're pretty much at the end of that. And at this late date, it'd be kind of hard to reserve a 5th bus. Next year, maybe 5 or 6
And what's
buses.
the date of this event?
This one is Saturday, January 25th. And folks can go ahead and drive up to San Francisco on their own. So we hope to see some more Bakersfield folks
It'll
there.
be interesting to see how much media attention you get.
They routinely do not cover this event.
When I was in Los Angeles, I was the media director for the Walk for Life there, and I remember one year we had 11,000 people, raised $1 million.
Oh, my.
And did not get a dime of attention, even though I personally dropped off media packets to the Times, the Valley News, and some of the local radio stations. We didn't get a nickel's worth of attention out of it.
Well, how much have you heard about the March for Life in Washington, D.C., this is the sister event to that? 650,000 people marched last year.
Yeah.
Where was the coverage?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah,
it's
just
amazing.
stunning. It's stunning.
What other events do you have?
Okay, for Bakersfield, Kern County folks who can't make the walk, we want to remember Roe v. Wade with a community demonstration on Saturday, January 18th. It's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and they can join us at any time at those hours and stay as long as they like on the corners of Stockdale in California, 24th and F Streets, and Mount Vernon and Niles. And the signs that we will be distributing at Mount Vernon and Niles will be in Spanish.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. And then, pardon?
I'm just kidding.
Oh. And then we are going to host a candlelight prayer vigil on Wednesday, January 22nd, which, as you know, is the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. It's the 41st anniversary. It's only an hour, 7 to 8 p.m. It's at 2633 16th Street, adjacent to the Planned Parenthood building there. We're on the street.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
Last year we had our first event. We had 150 people. It was lovely, a lovely hour of prayer. It was Protestants and Catholics praying together. It was just a great night. So
why do you say Protestants and Catholics? It's just Christians.
Well, I think so too, but there seems to be, when you see the number of one and the number of the other, it's and
unfortunately, the pro-life movement for years was that way. It started out with the Right to Life, which was Catholic, and then the Crisis Pregnancy Center, which I was involved in, was a little bit later.
Yeah. So we're trying to change that. We're just kind of lighting a fire under the Protestants and getting them on board. And
here in Kern County, it's a different scenario because the Crisis Pregnancy Center is a great thing, and they've been going for a long time, and they do fantastic work.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
We're very lucky here in Kern County. And speaking of which, we're out of time.
Are we already?
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
You did great.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming in. We'll definitely have you come back soon.
Oh, please, yes.
We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio News Talk 1180.